Warning, this podcast contains lots of stuff.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host, Cleo. This is Captain Cole.
It is.
And with me I have Rachel.
Hello.
Nikki.
Hi.
Dom.
How's it going?
Good. How'd you guys like this episode?
It was really
I
good.
laughed more than I thought I was going to.
It was the humor was fantastic.
Oh god, it was so good.
So good.
Well, yeah, I had a feeling with Arthur being Rip Hunter, it would be pretty funny because he was even on Doctor Who. He was pretty funny.
Now in Doctor Who, he played Rory.
Rory, yeah.
Right? He was a companion of the Doctor, right?
He was Amy's husband.
Okay.
I mean, he still traveled with the Doctor, so I guess he was kind of a companion in some sort.
Yeah.
Rip's daddy.
So he's no stranger to time travel.
No.
No, in fact, the name of this organization is eerily similar to
Yeah, I know. I was just like, oh.
Time Lords, the Time Masters.
Yeah. And my friend Caitlin, who watched this, she texted me the next morning or whatever, and she said, "The show is very eerily reminding me of Doctor Who," and she doesn't even watch Doctor Who. So
Honestly,
Well,
the
you
only
picked a
thing
good
is
person.
time travel and that they're called the Time Masters. That's honestly the only thing.
And they're
that-
talking about timelines and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
there's, whether or not you're relevant to the timeline. The way they said it is pretty much the same way. There's certain timelines you can't rewrite. And if you screw up one person's timeline that's significant in the timeline, then you kind of screw up the future.
right, but
Yeah.
we don't know how this is all gonna work because this is different from Doctor Who, and
Mm-hmm.
this,
Very, very different.
yeah.
Yes, very different.
So we're all coming at this show from different perspectives, right? Me and Dom, we've been doing Flash and Arrow, so we're caught up on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what's going on in those shows. But
Right.
Rachel and Nikki, where are you at in this universe?
I'm caught up on Arrow. I'm only on episode 4, season 1 of Flash.
Okay.
I haven't really. I mean, I know the base players on Flash, but I don't know exactly what's going on.
See,
Nikki?
I'm not so caught up on Arrow. I think I'm almost at the end of season 2, and I'm pretty much caught up on the Flash. So
Season 2 is where Arrow gets weird.
yeah, I think that's where I'm starting to peter off because I'm losing interest.
Yeah, I completely understand.
So this is got to be interesting because there's going to be characters that, like Nikki, you know more about. Like you're more connected with them. Like yeah, like since you started Arrow, you know, White Canary. I know you know Ray Palmer, the Atom from coming over onto the Flash, but like you're not as connected with Ray Palmer as like Rachel is.
No.
So, and then it's the other way around. Like you're really connected to Captain Cold, and she's got no history with Captain Cold. You know?
Yeah, I just finished the first episode he was in. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Gonna say one thing about Captain Cold. Who names their kid Snart? I mean, seriously.
Isn't that his
And
last name?
Last name.
That's his last name. Yeah,
I
Leonard.
don't- Okay, whatever. They call him by Snart.
Yeah.
No, his first name's Leonard.
Yeah.
Although
Well,
he is one of my favorite characters, I'd like him even more if his last name didn't sound like a juicy fart.
There you go.
I love him.
Well, what's kind of cool
I
about
snarted.
Captain Cold and the other guy, I can't remember his name.
Mick.
Right.
Yeah.
His name is Mick Rory, but I always accidentally call him Mickey Rourke.
Okay.
So,
But this isn't the first time they've teamed up together.
No. Prison Break.
Prison Break, and then now they're talking about coming back, like having a one-off reunion with Prison Break or something like that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I know. And I can't quit seeing him as the yogurt guy in the yogurt commercials.
Oh my god, those are my favorite commercials. Those are my favorite commercials.
And he has that sense of humor even in the commercials and in this, and it's just like, I love you.
So deadpan and so serious.
I love it. That's what I love about
completely ridiculous.
I loved about this. Everyone was so serious, but all these like little jokes are going off everywhere, and I'm just like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, and see, that's the very humor that the Flash has nailed down now. Like, getting into season 1 of the Flash, there it was light and campy, but there wasn't as much humor. Season 2, they just like cranked up that humor dial, and it's pretty much right here where Legends of Tomorrow is at. So if you enjoy the humor on the show, you will enjoy the humor on the Flash. So, highly recommend watching the Flash if you don't already.
I agree. Yeah, which was always what puzzled me, because the Flash was the funny show, and then Ray Palmer came on Arrow, and I'm like, he seems like he belongs on the Flash and not on Arrow.
Yeah, no, that's exactly, because you asked me that question, Cleo, when we did the Flash podcast.
Yeah.
In that particular episode, and I was just like, yeah, I don't see how he fits in the Arrow universe, because I wasn't caught up on Arrow at that point. And it was very interesting. So I just want to say I loved everything about this episode. My biggest gripe is there wasn't much of a tie-in from going from Flash and Arrow this week. It's like they didn't exist.
Yeah.
To set into it.
It was all like beating up like 3 dudes.
Yeah.
Like totally not with nobody, just Ollie. It's like, why are you beating up these rando dudes? What's going on?
Yeah, it was really weird to me. It was like,
yeah, I
mean, they threw out names for both, and I mean, we did see Ollie for a short period of time, but they threw out names, like they threw out Cisco, and when she showed her outfit and stuff like that. That's that kind of. She's supposed to be the White Canary, but she looks like she rolled around in the mud.
Yeah, real grungy.
She's like a dirty canary. I mean, it's
got a little dirty.
But it makes sense. It's a really grungy looking outfit. She's not having a good time coming back from the dead, and it just makes sense with how she's feeling.
Now, did that make sense to you? Because I'm really curious. Like, did that? Because
well, I mean,
you don't know what went on with her.
I had no idea that she died and came back, but I did after. She's like, "Oh, the Lazarus pit," and I'm like, "Well, okay, I understand now because I know about that at least." So. I mean, I made connections in my head, like, instantaneously.
Awesome.
I mean, I saw Hot Girl and Hot Guy for a brief time at the ending, the 2-parter crossover of this last season, before the break, and I still don't like him.
He's still hot douche.
He really is. I don't like him.
Yeah, I was really hoping he wasn't going to be in this series for whatever reason. Because he was not announced for, the original trailer for Legends. And they were just like, oh, Hawk Girl. And I was like, okay, good. And I don't like the other guy. So he's not going to be in it. I don't have to worry. And nope, here he is.
Well, if you have one, I guess you have to have the other, which kind of sucks. I like her, but it seems like she's starting to finally possibly get more of her memories back.
Now, the thing that is really going to be interesting for me is we have Hawkgirl and Hawkeye, who have multiple previous lives and potentially future lives. Do you think we're ever going to run into copies of them along the way? Like, they're going to talk to themselves from the past or themselves from the future?
What I thought was, how many of their children are they going to run? Like, how many times have they had kids?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like Carter didn't even remember they had this kid.
Right.
I mean,
Carter was just as surprised.
They're just sprinkling.
I have an issue with that.
Oh?
I thought immortal beings weren't allowed to procreate in any form. Doesn't matter if they're a god or anything like that. I mean, Zeus is just a dickbag. Let's not bring him into this. I'm talking about, like...
She's talking about Highlanders.
They're not
Highlanders don't reproduce, I know that much. But I think it just depends on immortal to immortal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what we
like if it's the DC Comics, if it's Marvel, if it's this, I think each one has their own rules.
I guess what we know about them so far, though, is that they were Egyptian clergy, right? She was a priestess. She was, higher in the rankings and everything. And then they were killed, but they're caught in they're multiple lives or whatever. So it's like they die and they're reincarnated back.
Well,
so it's not like so it's not like they're immortal because magic. They're not. Yeah.
Yeah. So Vandal made a spell to curse them, but Shiara made a prayer to Osiris, which Horus, my bad. Which sort of not negated it, but tied their destinies together.
Yeah.
So they're reborn. They are not immortal. Carter and Shiara are not immortal. They just keep coming back. Vandal's the one who's immortal.
They're kind of a weird. They're not. I don't know. How, yeah, they just keep coming back.
It's very weird.
They're immortal, but they're not immortal. I don't know what do you call those. There has to be a name for them.
They're stuck in a reincarnation cycle.
This again.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But yeah.
So Rip Hunter steals his time ship. He steals
exactly.
Hold on. Angel Cassidy in chat is saying Hawkman wasn't a clergy, he was Prince.
Yes, he was Prince.
It was Prince Khufu, and Shiara was head priestess. And
Vandal.
Was he a priest?
Yeah.
He was a priest.
Or he was viceroy?
Yeah, but he was like a priest.
Because what did he say in the episode? It was the Arrow episode when we saw their origin history. When he said something about he shouldn't be sleeping in her chamber. He made it seem like Hawkman was just
royalty
like a peasant.
and clergy aren't supposed to be together.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be
It's
together.
forbidden.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So
yeah. So
what?
If royalty and clergy, so she's royalty and he's clergy?
No,
no,
she's
other
the
way
priestess,
around. Other way around.
and Khufu, who is Carter.
Oh, okay.
Is Prince.
Okay. Got it.
And Vandal, I think, was a priest.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is a priest of some sort.
Priest
of douchebags.
Priest.
Got it. Okay.
A lot of douchebags in ancient Egypt.
A lot of douchebags.
I mean, Emotep, come on. One of the biggest douches.
He steals a time ship and is
I was just like, yeah, okay, you know how to do this. You know how this goes.
It fits with my headcanon, and then he's actually Rory.
Yep.
I totally can get that. I can get behind that.
He learned it from the doctor. He stole a time ship.
Yeah. He's Rory of the future.
And they're being chased by what Snart so lovingly referred to as Boba Fett.
I love that.
I'm so glad you made that
It was
joke.
great.
They made multiple Star Wars references in this episode.
I didn't think they'd be able to get away with that because DC, Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're doing it.
It's just a reference. I mean, you can reference anything. It's what you're willing to reference.
Yeah.
It's not like it's copyright to. Well, I guess it might be copyright to say Darth Vader. I don't know.
Well, said that too, so
I think they just said Vader.
Something like that. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Guys. It's still a reference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still a reference. Still one we understand.
Yep.
It was a pretty cool outfit he was wearing. I have to admit, it was a pretty damn cool bounty hunter.
I just love this whole time, like the trailer that we saw almost what was it? It wasn't a year ago. It seems like a year ago. It was like 6 months ago that we saw the trailer for Legends of Tomorrow, and I was under the impression this whole time that Rip Hunter was actually like a legit like member from the future that's coming down and has a purpose for these people, and it turns out no, he stole this thing and fucking lied to all of them.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Doctor.
He had to learn it from somewhere.
think that's why I like it so much, because you could kind of relate it back to that, but this is a little more, a little funnier, I guess you want to say. I love Arthur. He's like amazing in whatever he plays.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, Time Masters aren't supposed to have kids, and what does Rory do? He's a kid. I'm sorry, Rip. He's a kid who gets, his wife and his kid get killed by.
I think that kid had some significance, because otherwise they would never have said the kid's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I think Vandal knew who they were.
Oh, of course.
He did, because he said to the kid, your mother was.
Are you
something?
strong?
Your father's and your father's a coward.
Coward like your father.
So he definitely knew who his father was.
Mm-hmm.
So they must have fought before. Or maybe he remember. Oh, maybe since they're fucking with time, he remembers him from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Oops.
It's the wibbly wobbly timey-wimey coming into part.
Yeah.
It's changing people's memories in the future of what happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're doing now.
I didn't sign up for a Doctor Who podcast.
Well, you can go.
It's time travel.
Time travel.
That's how it goes.
It's kind of weird. It's like, what they do now to change the past will affect people's memories in the future. So it's like what they're doing now will all of a sudden pop in a memory of someone in the future. So it's kind of weird.
Well, that might not be how it works. From what we've seen from The Flash, that might not be how it works.
That might not.
I don't know, but even in the Flash Arrow crossover, the last one, the Arrow one involving time travel, when, Cisco, he said, maybe knowing that you're going to jump into the future changes the present, which makes you not go into the future. So...
Oh, but like when Cisco was talking himself in a circle?
Yeah, and then he just goes, my head hurts.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. All we've seen with time travel in this universe so far is the present going into the future,
Mm-hmm.
Like, Barry hasn't changed a crazy amount of stuff.
No.
These guys are going back, 35 years.
I mean, they went back to find Aldous. They went back to find Aldous to find Vandal. Who's to say that they went and be like, oh, let's go back, 200 years and get Vandal then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might come to that. I mean, we don't know how far they're going to go, because I have a feeling Rip might just say, fuck the timeline, and do something stupid. Because he's already done some stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As is evidenced by assembling a team.
And trying to make... I just love the fact he made them sound like they were this. They were so important at the time. But in reality, he just grabbed people that weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
But I mean, that's also not to say that they weren't important to the timeline. But at that point...
Mm-hmm.
They might become important because of what they're doing.
After that point, they didn't do anything pivotal.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're also using a different form of time travel than what the Flash is using, so we don't know if they're linked. So we can't really even base the Flash's time travel on them, because in the Flash's, he can't create duplicates of himself. He can see what they call what was it, flat or mirage.
I forgot what they called it. Yeah, but he sees himself.
Right, but he can't interact with himself. Right? And he never exists in the same place at the same time. So, like, when he goes back to a point in time that he's already been to, he doesn't see himself there.
Yeah. Because it's a different... He's created a different...
But, see, when he's affecting... But the only time that is false is when he went back to the night his mother was killed. So even the Flash isn't following his own rules of time travel. Which...
Well, there are no rules.
No.
But I don't know if that's
Flash
different because there was no
back,
present day Flash, I don't... It's weird.
Wait, didn't he still see himself when he did that?
Yeah,
No.
he did. That's
Yeah.
my point. He saw
Yeah.
himself being chased by Reverse Flash, right? And he
Yeah.
waited in the bedroom
Yeah.
until they left to go talk to his mother, right? But every time Barry goes back now, like in the Arrow crossover episode, when he went back and he went to the warehouse for the meetup for Vandal Savage, there wasn't two Barrys there. Is my point.
Okay, well,
Speed Mirage. That's right, Angel. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
those are two different flashes. One was from the far distant future, and then the future of that Barry that we
Right.
saw. Like, they were completely different timelines at that point, because as soon as he made the choice to go back to save his mom, it split. So you got that
You know what
Barry.
it is? It's probably during the fact that he's seeing the Speed Mirage. That's when it happens. Because every time he sees it before it happens, and then he goes back to that point. So the Speed Mirage is probably what causes him not to cross himself.
Yeah.
Because he didn't see the Speed Mirage when he went back to the night of his mother. So that's probably the answer to that.
Yes.
But
And,
the
you
point
know-
is the time travel here. What if they went back 1 minute before Hawkgirl and Hawkeye's son got shot? Like, would they run into copies of themselves? You know, like, would they be sitting there witnessing that all happen, or would they replace the versions of themselves? I think they
Now
would
that
see
we've
themselves.
talked about it like that, Barry's traveling, and we can assume that the timeline splits, but they're using a machine to travel in the same timeline.
Right.
So who knows? Who knows, really?
I think they would
I
see
like-
copies of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that
Oh.
Professor Stein is around.
Oh God, he's
That's-
so adorable.
But that's his thing. Quantum,
Yeah,
quantum
he's so-
mechanics, quantum space stuff, time stuff is his
Mhm.
thing.
I liked him. He was like,
I
Kinda-
can't believe
he's mischievous in a kid-like sense, but then in an old body. You know what I mean?
I can't believe he drugged the kid.
I can't
I
believe
can't.
either. I was watching it happen. I was just like, I'm sorry, what?
As soon as he handed him the drink, I was like, he's drugging the guy.
That
I also-
never crossed my mind.
He also poured him a drink, a liquor drink, when the kid just got stopped saying he was 20 years old. I'm like, all right, Stein.
You don't know where
Contributing to the delinquent of a minor.
they could be filming in Canada where it's legal
18.
to drink at 20.
Well, they are filming
Yeah,
in Canada.
he's probably
actually.
not 20.
No.
We don't know state laws in Central City.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I absolutely love what Mick just comes up to him and is like, "What? Can I get some of those roofies?" I'm not
I
judging.
know. I'm not judging. I love
Hey,
him.
roofie him.
I have a feeling he's gonna be one of my favorite ones. He reminds me kind of like the Groot kind of thing. You know, he's very deadpan.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Well, of course I like that actor anyways.
I love
I
their
like-
whole gimmick. It's like, we're not here to save anything. We're here to steal everything.
We're here to steal the Mona Lisa as it's being painted.
Yeah, you realize if they did that, it wouldn't be worth shit.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
be worth anything because no one would want it. Yeah. They're not thinking this thing through.
It's just
I think
so
you know what?
funny.
No, I
They're
think
definitely not the brains.
Len knows exactly what to do. Like he would know that it would lose its value at that point. I think he's just saying that to convince Mick
Yeah.
because he wants to do better.
I believe it.
Hmm
From what we've seen.
It's so
in
difficult
Black-
talking by their names. I'm so used to, Captain Cold and Heatwave. I'm not used to
Yeah.
Mick. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get that through my head. But I'm
Well,
gonna.
this whole episode did not mention their supervillain
No.
names.
No.
Not
But I
once.
did-
So that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of
I
course.
mean, it seems like, Captain Cold, whatever, he's more the devious, and the other guy is just along for the ride because he just likes to
Oh.
kill people, as he says.
100%.
Yeah, Leonard is definitely the brains behind the operation. So.
And he's just like, I'm just here to kill people. That's all. I'm just here to have fun.
I love
And
the
it-
70s.
I know.
That was great. He just breaks the stool over the guy's head. I love the 70s.
I love the fact he put on Captain and Tennille. My mom used to play this all the time.
Funny thing is, I was sitting there, I was jamming and singing the song.
I don't know. I just have this feeling that him and the White Canary would be hilarious together.
We go out and get one drink.
Hilarious together.
Those two, I'm going to ship those two to the end of the earth. Those two would be hilarious. They need their own show.
And she's bi, so it's totally viable.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, perfect.
There was actually last week.
Now kiss.
Last week there was a special for Legends of Tomorrow On where they had like some developer stuff, like interviews and like setting the stage for a bunch of stuff that I got a chance to watch, and they said all of these characters could have had their own show. They could have had their own spin-off and it would have been fantastic. But the fact that we have all these characters in one show is what makes this show so epic.
Yeah.
And
I think
so good.
I definitely
Like
have like an
also,
Avengers
they're also
vibe from this
different.
show.
Yeah, they're also different, but yet they're all pretty cool. They're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
you see when it comes down to it how well they fight together. Some of them having like, obviously there are two villains on the team, just teaming up.
Yeah, I
They
think it's
fought
funny.
well against Kronos together.
I know. I love the fact that everyone's so worried about, there's these two villains, there's these two, thieves, and Rip's just like, whatever.
You're going to leave
They're
these two
worried about
on a
these
time
two-
machine?
They're worried about these two criminals when, this old man just, decided to drug this kid.
I know, right?
Kidnap him.
Not only that, but they're worried about leaving the criminals alone, but Canary's the one who leaves to go to the bar. She starts the fight,
Mm-hmm. She
So
didn't
it's-
start
they're
the
all-
fight. That guy was a dick.
She was like hitting on his woman, and he didn't like
Oh
that.
no, it's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, but what I mean is she was the one who started fighting first.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Leo.
Right.
At first she's like, nah, I got this. And then she's like, nah, come help me now.
Now I could use a little
Yeah,
help.
Snarf was just like sitting back at the beers like, oh yeah.
He was double fisting those beers.
Yep.
Dollar
like,
beers though.
Dollar
Yeah,
beers.
but see, this is where my head starts wrapping around. It's like, okay, dollar beers, right? You're gonna hand them a dollar bill from 2003. Like they're gonna get the dollar bill and they're gonna be like, what is this? What?
I think it's
I didn't
adorable
look
that you
at it.
think. I think it's adorable that you think Mick went up and paid with his own money. He
I-
definitely took somebody else's wallet. And
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah, and
no way Mick paid with his
realistically, you give someone money that you don't sit there and look at it and go, "What year is this from?"
Well, I mean, if it looks that much different, then yes, you do.
I know, but I don't know
From
how
the
much different.
70s. They
I
are.
don't know how much they changed it.
Oh,
They're very different.
I get money on a daily basis. Getting old 10s is like, oh my god. It
Yeah.
doesn't even get 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still legal tender, so they could just be like, "Oh, it's a new print, whatever."
Yeah, until they look at the year, then it's 30
Yeah.
years in the future, and this is counterfeit.
But then they were by that time they're
the
already
worst
gone. so it doesn't
counterfeiter in
matter.
the world.
Right.
Making bills that look nothing like the current bills.
I mean,
with
even
the year 2016 on them.
even Back to the Future, when they went back, Doc Brown just pulled out a suitcase of like currency by different years, and he's just like, here's some money, go get some new clothes. So
Yeah, so
hopefully
yeah,
Rip
chances
Hunter's
are
got a
he
whole
didn't- like you
room
said,
somewhere.
He didn't.
Yeah.
And, well, chances are he didn't pay for it with his own money. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's pretty plausible right there.
I
He's
mean,
a criminal.
were there dollar coins back then? I don't know, because
No.
there's always been coins in
yeah.
Canadian
There-
currency.
Yeah, there were.
There were, yeah.
There was Susan
Okay.
B. Anthony's. Yeah.
All right, then maybe he found a coin on the street. It's that easy.
Or in just someone's pocket. It was just hanging out there waiting for him in their pocket.
They mugged
They don't
somebody
need those
before they got to the bar.
What
Yeah.
I actually forgot to mention was the little, it was the crossover with Ollie and Laurel. So Ray had his little conversations with Ollie,
Mm-hmm.
which I liked because Ollie never changes. Like, you think Ollie changes, Ollie never changes. He's just like, oh, yeah, I don't trust him.
That's
how I stay alive.
Yeah, it is.
And Ray was just like, I know, it's all right. I'm going anyway. Just thought I'd tell you.
Just want to let you know that I'll be gone. Yeah. Someone should know.
I mean, Ray's reasoning for going in the first place was really great. You know, it's just like, I mean,
he hasn't...
I died to the world, and no one blinked. My inventions didn't do anything. No one cared. And
so far, he hasn't come back. Sounds like he hasn't come back to life with everyone else. People still think he's dead.
Yeah. So Nikki, who's completely lost, there was a explosion in Ray Palmer. Ray took over Queen Industries, and like he turned it into Palmer Tech. And then there was an explosion on the top floor or something that he was in, and when they went through the debris, his body wasn't there, so they assumed he exploded, but he was wearing his suit and he shrunk down in size, and then he was kidnapped and held hostage, and then they rescued him 6 months later or something ridiculous. So
but I have to say, my favorite podcast I did of Arrow, when it was still the one woman podcast, I think it might have been one of the last ones, but I came back and I was like, Ray wasn't in this episode, I wonder why. And then I looked at it and I was like, I face palmed and I was like, it's because he's dead. He's dead. Like, I had forgotten that the building exploded and people thought he was dead because I knew he wasn't dead.
Right, because we knew the show was coming.
So I was just thinking, they're like, okay, I messed that one up.
Yep.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I mean, really, he wouldn't be missed by anyone but Team Arrow.
Which is another thing where they say, like, oh, they're not important to the timeline. Yeah, they don't do anything significant. They might not do anything significant, but they had an impact.
Oh, yeah.
On Ollie, on Team Arrow.
For sure,
yeah,
for sure.
Whole circle.
Well, they might not be singular. They might not have an impact, but together, now that he's put them together.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, though, with time travel, he could return them back to, like, the moment that they left, and they never would have been gone.
That's but only if
they succeed in what they're doing, everything's going to change. Not everything. Yeah. A lot of things change.
But
it changes retroactively.
Wouldn't they still remember, though? Because I don't think he can erase their memories.
I feel like it would work like Back to the Futures when they changed they went into the future and then came back into the present, and like the past, all the future or the present transformed around them, and they had no recollection, like they had been there in that timeline the whole time. It was Marty's girlfriend. Remember, they just like dropped her off and like left her on the porch. Well,
I mean, we can sit here and debate. Every time travel movie show all has their own different, I want to say, quote unquote, rules, because there is really no rules.
Right.
But we just don't know how they're gonna.
Everybody that was on the trip, I think, is gonna know. Obviously, yes, they're gonna know that they did stuff and that changed history. But like Oliver, I don't think any of those changes he's gonna know happened. He's gonna think the world was always like that.
If he does take them back to the point where he picked them up, they're gonna remember everything.
Oh, they will, of course, yeah.
So,
but I'm saying their friends won't miss them. That was my point. Their friends will act like they were never gone. But I don't think they can get away with that since these shows are going to be running linear.
Yeah, no.
So I feel like they'll drop them off at the present day of wherever the show is. When Legends has its run through.
They'll do pop-ins.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll make a nice crossover.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Well, don't forget, because we saw in the trailer, the original trailer anyway, there was a big fight, it seemed like in the future with like space guns and soldiers with, masks and stuff, and the Flash and Arrow were involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
So that I was expecting that in the pilot. I mean, it might still be because pilot part 2 is next week, but
yes.
I don't know.
There's so much they can do with this. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah.
I agree. But definitely liking this. Definitely liking the feel of it. It's putting a whole bunch of misfits together.
Yeah.
and seeing what you get. So
Now I would read you the synopsis. There we go. Okay, I was gonna say my browser's not cooperating. Okay. So next week is Pilot Part 2. What an original name. Tipped off to Vandal Savage's whereabouts, the team infiltrates munitions deal with Professor Stein as their leader. Oh God.
oh god.
I'm gonna love that.
Mm.
Surrounded by some of the toughest criminals in the world, things go quickly from bad to worse when Savage realizes they don't belong there. Massive fight ensues, and a piece of the Atom suit falls into the wrong hands. Aw, shit.
Ooh.
Stein realizes the best way to retrieve the missing piece is to contact his younger self. That sounds like a great idea, Stein, by the way. Meanwhile, Snart and Rory plan to steal a key element in defeating Savage.
Snart, snart, snart.
Snart. Snart.
It's like
Like I said, juicy fart.
Ugh.
I just when you say it, when you say snart, snart, it reminds
Now
me
you're
of
never gonna
Thundercats.
fucking forget. Sorry.
Snarf, snarf.
Snarf, snarf. Thundercats. That's what came to mind.
Lion, oh, snarf, snarf. Yeah, so, listen, I'm really excited for the rest of the show.
It's gonna be great.
I have to say, it's like another comedy we got going on here. I'm
totally
sure there's
cool
gonna be
with that.
serious parts, but I mean, with this cast, they can't be all too serious because
No.
of this cast. This cast is not. They're not very serious.
No.
The only one that's serious right now is Rip. The rest of them are all very candid.
Yeah, well, he's not even that serious. He's serious in that, like, you know, the dry English humor kind of serious.
Yeah.
I didn't even
really-
mention Gideon.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
That's like a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah, it was. It was huge. I totally forgot.
Gideon's developed some sass over the years, I have
Yeah.
to say.
Now, Rachel, are you familiar with Gideon?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Oh.
See, this is where this comes into play, because the three of us are all in the loop, and Rachel's like, what the fuck, Gideon? Why is that important? But,
As soon as he said her name, I was like, ah!
yeah, I freaked out, too. Gideon is supposedly a computer program that Barry creates in the future that is... the Reverse Flash brings it back in time with him and has it in the lab and stuff like that. So, like, he finds it and stuff like that. He's like, oh, all this crazy tech. And it's just like, it responds to Barry, it answers to Barry. So we know Barry created it at one point. We've definitely not gotten to the point in the timeline where he's created it yet.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably creates it in 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always what I thought. But what was I gonna say? Fuck. Seriously, she is like sassy. There was no sass when she was in the Flash, but like with Rip, I don't know.
This could be like a shoot-off program. Like Gideon could be an operating system at this point.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Or Cortana, or it could be something like that where it develops, a sense of humor based on the user and starts, changing its preferences based on the person.
System.
Yeah, no, it very well
Right
could.
at the next star.
You missed the turn.
And 400 feet, you're gonna need to exit the freeway.
I just love how give us one reason why we should keep you alive. Because Gideon won't listen to any of your commands and you'll be stuck here.
Good point.
Touche.
But he loves it. They love the 70s, right?
Don't worry. 2006 is 40 years away. You can wait.
I do. I just love the humor.
I'm hoping one of them gets stranded in time at some point in this.
Oh my God.
It's
And like
gonna
they
be-
live a couple of years in whatever time period.
Yeah.
I think if anyone's gonna get stranded, it's gonna be what's his face, the kid.
Jax.
Mhm.
Jefferson?
I have a feeling he'd get stranded. He'll go
mean,
get a Slurpee and go, oops.
Would that be, good? Because him and Stein, if they're apart for a while, don't they both start kind of...
I don't know.
I think they're well. I think they're okay apart as long as they're both still alive.
Would that
They just
count?
don't want to be separated.
Well, I
Because
just feel
they're
like if
still
he got stuck in time or something, then they had to go back and get him because the other guy's freaking out. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I wonder if they get separated by time, if they can still feel what the other one's going through.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
But that would be a good episode.
Yeah, definitely. So, then no one has anything else to say.
Nope.
Rachel, where can the people find you?
They can find me at Savannah17 on Twitter and at Twitch at Savannah.
Nikki, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Dom.
Do.
Phenomena.
Yeah, PHENOMEDOM on Twitter.
MySpace. You can find me at Cleomoto on places such as Twitter and Twitch and other places. And you can find all of us at ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows. And now video games. We are now having the Serious Gentleman Gaming podcast on our YouTube channel. So if you're into games, check that out. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.
Maybe in the past.
In the present.
Definitely in the future.
Definitely the future. More likely the future.
Legends of Yesterday.